welcome. It's after lunch, so if everybody can give me a quick stretch. That was a high energy session from Ed. Ed equals energy, so thank you. But welcome. Thank you for sticking around after lunch for our talk. We're going to have an interactive discussion to rethink how we protect data, users, and organizations in a hyper-connected world. As Ed stated, I'm Dena Towells, Director in Cybersecurity. I lead a team of architects and engineers developing next generation and emerging technology solutions. Joining me are two thought leaders in the industry. They have deep technical expertise and a passion for practical solutions. So they are Skylar King and Jessica Dill.
Hi, Dena.
Hello. Welcome. Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention about the interactive polling. You all should have had access to that earlier, and we will go through those questions throughout this talk. Okay, so Skylar, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you, Dena, for having us, and thank you all for being here. My name is Skylar King. I've been with Palo Alto Networks for about 3.5 years now. My primary responsibility is working with partners like AT&T to build, manage, and professional services around our network security portfolio.
Thank you. Jessica.
Hi, I'm Jessica Dill. I'm coming up on, actually, I think I just hit 13 years with AT&T. I started in retail, went back to school on tuition reimbursement while working in small business acquisition sales, and now I lead the innovative feature architecture and design for AT&T Dynamic Defense, focused on the user experience.
All right, here it is. So for those of you in the room, please scan the QR code. Those of you online, please access the form. When you access the form, answer question 1 through 4, then hit submit. Because if you think you're answering the first question, it won't submit until you answer all 4 questions. So I'll give everyone a little while, just a couple of minutes to do that.
Should add there are no wrong answers.
Absolutely, thank you. Okay, while everyone is doing that, I have a question, excuse me, for the poll. So, what are some real world challenges, both technical and human, that you see organizations facing as they move toward more defense in-depth solutions? Skylar.
Sure. So when we think about defense in depth, and really when we think about it in 2025, we're really talking about Zero Trust Network Access, or ZTNA. We're really talking about securing the perimeter so the bad things stay out, the good things can come in and interact with the good things. The inherent challenge with that is some good things within the perimeter can't access other good things. I'll use an example. How many people flew here today or for the conference? Fair amount. Okay, with your ticket, with those same people, were you able to access any flight, any gate that you had? I see you shaking that. No, because in the post 9/11 world, we have more security and stringency around the flights that you can access and have those data restrictions. And really, when we think about zero trust in this modern sense, it's having certain specific users access certain specific applications, accessing certain specific data. And that's why a few years ago we coined the term ZTNA 2.0, which really emphasizes that architectural model. That feeds into the human aspect of it, where coming up with those policies and constraints and user permissions is a bit of a challenge, and it takes a really significant organizational shift to get there. But the end result is really extensive productivity by the users to be able to do their work with the peace of mind that they're not actually going to break something. Our CEO, Nikesh Arora, has a really funny quote that's, "No one shows up to work to do a bad job." So ZTNA 2.0 enables employees and workers to be able to do just that.
Nice. Jessica, what's your take?
I focus a lot on usability and making cybersecurity simpler and more accessible. Most of the people in this room are professionals, we're practitioners. And a lot of us know that a new tool usually also has to come with a new expert, somebody to run it, somebody to use it. But the vast majority of businesses don't have an expert to plug into the new tool that they're grabbing. And one of the things that we see that happens is these layers can look one of two ways. You either have it look like a beautiful cake, like you have an expert for every layer and everything's working good and all of your tools are functioning, or you've got some that are way old and in the back and look like a cobweb. Maybe somebody's not running it well day to day. Maybe somebody's just coming in once a week, once a month and doing a health check, making sure that it's functioning, but not making sure it's functioning well, or not making sure it's cohesive with the other layers in the design. So there's an open opportunity to take some of these more settled methodologies, these more practiced methodologies, and make them automated, make them self-driving, make them something that you can go in and realistically inspect just once in a while, make sure that it's still doing what you want it to do, and then that can open up, that automation opens up your ability to put your real high-level asset people on the more difficult tasks. Things like post-quantum cryptography or securing AI instead of maybe managing your firewall.
Nice. Love the cake analogy. Spoken like a true baker. All right, let's jump into our first polling question. When it comes to adopting new security models, what drives your team's leading concerns? Again, no wrong answers. We have complexity of deployment, integration with existing tools, lack of visibility controls, costs and skills gaps. And next we will see the answers. Control room?
Drum roll from the control room. No.
Oh, there we go, just a little time. Integration with existing tools. And it's evenly split across the other ones, but integration with existing tools was the one we figured everyone would select.
2 votes for one and 1 vote for everything else.
You're right.
Does that say 2 responses?
It's 2 responses.
That's okay. We didn't give you enough time. That's all right.
Okay, so go vote for the next
Well,
one.
well,
You
in which
still have
case, I
time.
mean, it's a good reflection in kind of the all the above, in which case, I mean, it's a paradigm that's inherent in our industry where we have one new challenge. Let's pick on AI. There was a lot of discussion in the last session around AI and the new attack vectors that come from this, where we now have 6 different tools that we now need to implement to protect ourselves from that. The challenge inherently with the integration of all those tools, making them seamlessly work together, will create challenges and potential breakage. And so having that one singular platform certainly reduces the complexity of the integration because it's one platform, but also reduces the deployment as well.
Nice.
118
there we go. Okay,
There
this
we go.
looks a little better. Thank you. All right, good deal. Let's jump into the next question for Jessica, because your work has been focused around making advanced security solutions simple. So can you tell us some best practices or some things that you've seen done in your work?
Yeah, so making cybersecurity usable and simple for more people. So not the ones that used it in the past, but the ones that haven't picked it up yet. The ones we want to start picking it up, the flower shops, the donut shops, the short haul truck drivers. What's difficult with that is not getting too stuck on the edge cases. You can't design a security solution that's applicable to everybody. There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all product. There's no such thing as a one-size-fits-all model. So what buttons and what knobs do you take away? What functionality do you remove in an effort to make it more deployable, faster, more simple, more intuitive, to fill in the knowledge gap that you know is there? So that's the biggest challenge that we have, is looking at a solution that we know was built to be really complete and saying, how do we make it a little bit less complete, but just as effective, just as powerful, and more accessible? Generally, that's the challenge. What knob to take away, what button to take away.
Any reaction to that, Skylar?
She said it best. I mean, the simplicity factor, I think, to talk a little bit in the last little remit about AI being the new attack vector, but it also opens up a new avenue for quickly learning these skills that are really important for practitioners to quickly adapt to the next potential attack vector. So.
I'd like to comment on that. So we talked a little bit earlier today, we heard a lot about vibe coding. I think we've got a potential for a future for vibe cybersecurity professionals. There's a real possibility that with some of these research tools that we're getting and some of these crawlers and on the open internet, that we're gonna have people that don't have all of the experience, but they can still get to actionable tasks that they can perform in the cybersecurity realm.
Nice. Okay.
Good point.
Yes. Let's jump into our next audience polling question. How confident are you in your organization's ability to adapt to new security threats as networks become more complex? Very confident, somewhat, not very confident, not confident at all. And again, no wrong answers. All right. And let's see. Somewhat confident. Okay. And 26% very confident. So kudos to you.
I mean, I think we know our audience here today.
That's right.
I wonder if we'd have asked everybody's families this question, if the answer would have been different.
True. Very true. All right, good deal.
Very good point.
Okay, Skylar. So let's talk about some strategies that Palo Alto Networks uses to help simplify network integrated security solutions.
Sure, of course. So let's start with the foundational portion of that question of network integrated security with the network. So 3 major developments in the recent years really allow for network integrated security to take shape. Number 1 is the virtualization of those network functions. So rather than having physical rack and stack appliances disaggregated throughout your enterprise, actually having those be hosted virtually and having the centralized management of that be done in the cloud makes that accessibility much easier. The other aspect of this, and this has been around for a little bit, is SD-WAN. So actually taking all of your underlay traffic and applying that overlay so you have the path optimization allows for these security policies to be placed on top of that overlay and in a much more simplified fashion. The other aspect that we at Palo Alto Networks are doing through our Strata Cloud Management platform is unifying the management of the policies of both the SD-WAN overlay and the security. Couple that with actually application acceleration. So if you're frequently accessing Salesforce or ServiceNow, leveraging that network overlay to have synthetic traffic run to actually optimize the traffic for those well-known applications, as well as AI insights to better improve the policies if there's frequent gaps in communication.
Nice. Okay. Good job. Jessica, what are some common pitfalls in simplifying network embedded security solutions?
So for the embedded, one of the things that AT&T likes to pride itself on is being available, being guaranteed, being there for you, being working. So when we look at embedding these security features directly into the network, we want to follow that same ethos. We want it to come up quickly, we want it to work consistently, and we want it to be something that's reliable to the point that you don't have to babysit it. We want it to just be there for you in the way that your connectivity is there for you. So one of the complex things that we have with that is making that simple solution in a way that it can automate its own policies, it can write its own availability for you in a way that, again, you don't have to really put your hands too deep into it. And we're leveraging a lot of AT&T expertise to make that happen. There's a lot of logical coding that goes into that, where we're taking a lot of our experience and we're making it available to you in that way. But then the other side of that, again, the edge cases. Maybe we don't need so much reporting. If it's something that we intend you to be able to use and trust, then maybe walking away from some of the really granular logging, really granular reporting. So it's really just choosing where to focus your time and your energy, automation or granularity.
Nice. Okay. Let's jump into our third polling question. What's your organization's top priority when evaluating new security approaches? Improving threat detection and response, simplifying management and operations, seeking to achieve regulatory compliance, reducing overall costs, enhancing user experience and performance. Let's see. improving threat detection and response. And that is not a surprise, as we have all of these new and emerging threats every day.
One comment I'd make here is, we talk a lot about with the reduced complexity of things, visibility becomes super important. And when you have that full visibility of what's going on in your network environment, you have the capabilities to detect all the threats that your network is facing and respond to them appropriately. You have the data and visibility into what you're regulatorily complied to, and goodness gracious, obligated to report on. And then lastly, of course, you can enhance the user experience because you actually have the visibility to know where there's actually an issue and things going wrong.
Yeah, that's a good follow-up. Great job. Well, continuing on, Skylar, given that you have the service provider lens, can you share some of your multi-year vision around network integrated security?
Of course. So I should have mentioned I've been working for and with both Palo Alto Networks and AT&T for the better part of 8 years, so service providers definitely in my blood. The multi-year vision I see of this, number one being extensibility of that ZTNA 2.0 infrastructure I talked about before across all network form factors, whether that be fiber, 5G, MPLS environments that might be hanging out there. And with that comes the enhanced performance and reliability that we'd expect. I mean, the beauty of the AT&T guarantee is you're going to get the right, everything's going to be working. And this network security gives that next step in the future I see of actually having the efficaciousness of the security as well. Couple that with AI being further integrated into the platform. That's going to simplify the ability to manage and automatically remediate some of those issues. And then finally, I see, Jessica, you mentioned it earlier about post-quantum cryptography. Quantum readiness is going to be huge, and the more that we're able to integrate security within the network, the better prepared we are going to be when that quantum lever actually turns to combat that threat.
Yes, nice. Good deal. Okay, our last question for the audience. To achieve optimal security and performance, which network security model do you prefer? Traditional best of breed, which is separate security and network tools from different vendors managed independently. Network integrated, that is security built into the network edge, managed via vendor interfaces and APIs. And lastly, fully embedded. Security is inherent and invisible, managed through the network's UI and vendor-specific tools. It's close. Okay. Fully embedded won this one out. So, and that's a great segue into our AT&T Dynamic Defense product, which we launched last year, right? So, Jessica, can you just, for the audience that may not know what AT&T Dynamic Defense is, give us a brief overview?
Yeah, sure. And just a hot take. Network embedded just slightly beat out but it's a split audience for sure. So with Dynamic Defense for the embedded side, and Dynamic Defense is also part of the branding for the Palo Alto Network Integrated Solution, so it's all within the same effort, just different flavors. But the embedded solution, we took a really powerful firewall and we put it after the provider edge router within the AT&T network itself. So long as you have a qualified connection, we just take your traffic right when it hits the edge of AT&T, and we route it to this firewall. And what that does is it allows you to have this service up and running in just a few minutes, 15, 30 minutes. It doesn't take too long, no hardware, no software. And then we added a lot of AT&T cybersecurity expertise into building the automation around it. So we have an option to allow a customer to soak for 7 days. We call it a soaking period. And then it will extract your logs and run some algorithms, and it'll populate your policy for you. So one of the things that we learned in research when we started doing this is we saw a lot of premise-based firewalls out in the market, but the smaller the customer got, the more likely they were to have an any policy, meaning the box was there, but it was just letting everything go through. And that's not the best scenario, right? We wanted to lift that floor up for the people that needed our help and our expertise with that. So with the automated policy generation, customers get an implicit deny structure, which is something that previously was probably not going to be something they'd be able to achieve without our help. So.
Nice, very good. All right. Well, Skylar, it is an exciting time because now we are about to launch our AT&T Dynamic Defense with Palo Alto Networks network integrated solution. So can you dive into the details and share with the audience what we're adding for our more upmarket and enterprise level customers?
And we're very excited to be partnering with AT&T and expanding the Dynamic Defense portfolio with our network integrated security solution. And personally, given my background with both Palo and AT&T, it's especially special for me. What we're doing is we are integrating our market-leading secure service edge solution in Prisma Access into AT&T's network backbone. So what does that mean for y'all? Well, number one, it's end-to-end visibility through that same Strata Cloud Manager that I described of both your policies, your users, your data, as well as now the network connectivity for that deeper visibility. So should anything happen, you have that full inspection and capability to know what's going on. The other unique thing that we're doing with this solution is partnering with CSO to actually intake the threat intelligence that you all see on your network to provide a groundbreaking platform to deploy that intelligence. I like to use the analogy, it's one thing to have the intelligence, and it's another thing to know what you're going to execute that with. And so this combination really brings something truly special together to elevate the security posture. And I should add too, Jessica, to your point, these don't need to be mutually exclusive. You can have both a fully embedded solution, if available, as well as the network integrated to provide that full comprehensive coverage of your security stack.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay. Any key takeaways you'd like the audience to be aware of in terms of network embedded, Jessica, and then network integrated, Skylar? So Jessica, I'll let you add on to network embedded first.
Yeah. So I think my one takeaway from this, if I had like a magic unicorn wish for everybody to walk away thinking about, is that in the past, a lot of these security solutions, they really live in the responsibility in the world of the customer. They're on your premise, they're on your edge, they're at your service edge, they're in your buildings, they're in your cloud. This effort to put it in network embedded is an opportunity to take some of these technologies that we're familiar with, but place them just a little farther down the path. It's one step in a new direction, and I really think it's the beginning of opening up a new vector for cybersecurity activity, because there is a whole world that the network providers have access to and control that previously was out of the customer's control. So we're extending that ability so that we can have just something new, another layer that wasn't previously there.
Nice. Okay. Follow up on network integrated, Skylar.
Yeah, and the topic of this discussion was from complexity to confidence, and I was reflecting on that as I was driving over here. And I mentioned it a little bit earlier, the inherent complexity around the multiple sets of tools that we have, combined with the negative unemployment rate for actually managing those tools on a regular basis, and where I see us at Palo Alto Networks heading around this platformed approach to network security and then pulling in the AT&T network. It's a very exciting time to actually be able to be in cybersecurity.
Nice, nice. We did great on time. We were making up for some time. So we can take questions if there are any. Tiffany?
Okay, we'll start with our live audience. Are there any questions here? Oh, here we go.
A question for Jessica, just given your background and experience here at AT&T. With any, kind of new, security, shift, especially for a user, consumer, things like that, right? I think we all agree, like years ago, most users were very, reluctant to do things like two-factor authentication. Now they kind of see the importance, the value of things like that. I'm curious to know what technologies, if you were to rewind the clock 5 years forward from now, what things you see that would really benefit, I would say users, consumers, customers of AT&T that maybe they're starting to do today, but you think could be like the de facto in a few years?
On the consumer side, I really see DLP really extending into the consumer side. That's something that's really exclusive to enterprises right now because you have these really complex playbooks. But as these technologies become more of a settled, I don't want to say science, but more of a settled science, we get the opportunity for people like experts at AT&T to say, there's not a one-size-fits-all for consumer, but we can make progress in this area by making a simplistic design that extends for your mom, for your grandma, for your daughter, for your husband. I just realized I used a lot of female genders there in my example. I've got daughters. But there's an opportunity for us to take some of these enterprise-level solutions like DLP, like advanced threat analysis or detection and response, and extend that into the home life.
If I may add just one more to that, the browser. You know, as we see, I don't know how many of y'all have played with the new AI-powered browsers, but that's just another attack vector that we all use every day that becomes another medium that we can provide that extended protection.
Oh, that's a good add-on, Skylar. Any more in the room? Oh, one in the back.
While she's going there, I can ask the one online really
Sure,
quickly.
sure.
Okay. Does network embedded security work for enterprise plus small business, especially when cost becomes an issue?
Sure, yeah, it should turn right to me. I think one of the really brilliant things, and you have your options, right? We have the network embedded that's coming out that's a little more enterprise. That may raise some cost concerns, but the network embedded, it's incredibly cost effective. And I'm of the opinion that if it's cost effective and it has an effect in a positive way on your security structure, it's a win-win for both sides. If you don't have to dedicate a operational expenditure to have an expert run it, then you can put a small operational expenditure to put a layer of security that wasn't previously there. And right now, the embedded solution is pretty cost effective.
Got it. Thank you.
Jessica, a couple of times you mentioned about post-quantum cryptography. So where is AT&T in terms of securing the networks and endpoint security from the future quantum computer threats?
Yeah, I dug a hole with that one.
Yeah, let me take that one. That's a great question and a great segue for our next panel. You're about to hear all about it. Okay.
I was going to punt too.
We'll steal their thunder.
We got a guy.
All right.
Any more?
Are we at? I think we're at time.
Okay.
But if there are any other follow-ups, you can join us at the Palo Alto booth. We'll have a couple folks there to answer any further
mine.
questions. Sorry.
Palo and AT&T.
Yes. Well, I will close us out. No more questions. I want to thank Skylar King for being here and representing Palo Alto Networks. Thanking Palo Alto Networks for their sponsorship. Thank you, Jessica, for being here as well. Great job. And as Skylar said, please follow us, the three of us, across the hall after the next panel, and you can see Dynamic Defense in action. Thank you.
Thank you all.